Thank you for welcoming me onto your screens or onto your headphones, depending on how you're watching this. I'm Eddie, and this is The Rollback. Folks, I'm here to talk to you today about The Replacements, aka one of the most underrated movies of the year 2000. So The Replacements, when the not NFL goes on strike, the Washington not Redskins need some replacement players. They bring in a team of washed up has-beens and never-wases to come in and compete and see what they can do. Movie stars Keanu Reeves, Gene Hackman, also has Jon Favreau, Orlando Jones, and a number of other guys that just make this a really fun movie. So right off the bat, this movie is technically sort of based on a true story on the 1987 NFL players strike. They were striking because of free agency was an issue. That's professional sports stuff. You don't have to worry too much about that. Just know, though, that this movie is amazing. This movie is funny. It's hilarious. It has heart, though, because Keanu Reeves plays a guy by the name of Shane Falco, someone who got murdered in the Sugar Bowl and then washed out after one season in the pros. Imagine washing out after one season in the pros. That sucks. That said, though, he's given what every athlete dreams of, a second chance. But this movie is a lot deeper than just, comedy football. Talk about super deep issues. They do cover a lot of interesting things. More importantly, quicksand, fear. Initially, there's a point where the team is trying to work on camaraderie. That said, and leadership, Gene Hackman has something called Chalk Talk, where he talks to the athletes about what they're scared of. Now, initially, it's things like bugs, spiders, and whatnot, cockroaches. And Shane says quicksand, and it's not the quicksand that you're thinking. He says no matter what you do, you keep feeling like you're drowning, and everything's feeling and falling around you. And the other athletes start to open up, talking about how they don't want to go back to the lives that they had before. That's terrifying, because again, they've been given the second chance, and they're afraid to blow it. But through it all, this team comes together and is able to win 3 out of 4 football games. They end up going to the playoffs, or sending the Sentinels to the playoffs. They don't actually get to play in the playoffs. We don't get to see that. That said, this film has an unbelievable amount of heart and love. Like, there's no scene in this movie that you can't just tune into and it's funny, or just tune into and start watching it from this point forward. It's a great TV film. I think it did develop a bit of a cult following, but nonetheless, just a great underrated film with great action sequences, great football sequences, mind you. Football movies are not the hardest thing to make, but a good football comedy, that's rare. And this is one of the few. Keanu Reeves really does carry this film on his back. It's carried because you need to like the characters that you're watching. And Shane Falco is the kind of guy you want on your team. Gene Hackman's a great coach. Orlando Jones is funny as hell. Jon Favreau is insanely intense, and then you get these athletes who in theory shouldn't make any sense whatsoever, but they work. You got a track star, not so fun fact, I have a convict in this film at one point, a guy who's in jail who's released to play the game. A not so fun fact, it turns out that's based on a true story. The quarterback for the 1987 Redskins was in jail, served 2 months, got out, played for about a month, and then had to go back. And he willingly turned himself in. Can you imagine that? Turning yourself in after playing 4 weeks in a professional sport. I can't imagine. That said, though, this movie is massively underrated. The number of people that have not seen this, it's insane, because to me, it's might actually be a bona fide classic. It's a great movie that does not shy away from, I don't want to say tough topics, but it's ballsy, it's crazy. It's a movie that should not have worked, and I guess theoretically box office wise it didn't, but in our hearts, here it remains. That said, though, this movie, I would definitely give it an A. I recommend everyone to watch it. If you're watching this, maybe go listen to our podcast where we talk about it in a lot more detail. That said, though, that's going to wrap it up for this quick little episode of The Rollback. The Super Bowl's tomorrow, so enjoy. Go Kansas? Wait, Patrick Mahomes is a Cowboys fan. Yeah, go Kansas City Chiefs. That said, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of The Rollback. Please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. We're always trying to grow this channel. And yeah, we'll see y'all later. Bye, everyone.